You know, I'm not the biggest Magic Johnson guy, as I'm a little younger, too young to have seen him play. I've only read about his greatness, watched highlights, watched old games, mostly via YouTube. But I respect when the NBA legends speak, because when they speak, you have to lend the ear and at least hear them out. And Magic Johnson was on point with this one, as he responded, as I see it, perfectly to what Anthony Edwards said a couple weeks ago about Michael Jordan being the only player with skill in his era. As we did a video on that, and I felt it was highly disrespectful of Anthony Edwards, but Magic Johnson took it a step further, and I 100% agree with him. And ladies and gentlemen, we are live again. Please like this video, share this video, hit the notification bell so you can be notified when I'm dropping content and going live on the channel. As well, if you haven't already, please subscribe as I drop content daily. Go live daily, stay very busy on the platform. And last but not least, please leave your thoughts and opinions in the comment section, as I'm always intrigued to know what you all have to say about these topics. And yes, ladies and gentlemen, Magic Johnson gave the perfect response to what I see as idiotic and some idiotic remarks made by Anthony Edwards, man. And I really am disappointed in Anthony Edwards because I felt like he was injecting, some energy into the game that we've been missing for quite some time. Um, his bravado, his willingness to talk some big crap and then go out there and back it up. We've seen him do that versus the Phoenix Suns this recent playoff run of the Minnesota Timberwolves. He did that to an extent versus the Denver Nuggets as well. I remember him promising that there was going to be a game 7 after like what a game 2 or game 3 loss whenever that happened, and backed it up. Was able to defeat the defending NBA champions, um, and he said he would. So at the same time, some of that bravado, it rubs a lot of people the wrong way. I like it, and especially like it if you can back it up. But Anthony Edwards was selected to be a part of Team USA. And this is just my conspiracy theory, y'all. Y'all can, you know what I mean? I've had people tease me about this, but my conspiracy theory, because Anthony Edwards was talking some sense before before he went to the Olympics. He would actually give very, very good basketball assessments. But um, the moment he got back, him and Kevin Durant did a interview with Boardroom, which I believe that's Kevin Durant's podcast or production company, and they were interviewed by Jalen Rose. And I don't know how the conversation exactly came about. I watched the interview, but it's been about a week now since I seen it. But he said that he didn't get the chance. Anthony Edwards, anyway, said he didn't get the chance to watch the players from the Michael Jordan era, but proceeded to give commentary on the Michael Jordan era, which I feel like that's just the mark of this generation. Nowadays you can do zero research. You can be very ill informed, but since you have a phone and internet access and a social media platform or whatever, especially on it's amplified when you get to Anthony Edwards' level, of course, being an NBA player, but just the everyday guy, does the exact same thing Anthony Edwards just did, and just being ill-informed. A lot of these young guys didn't see, a lot of the players like a Michael Jordan. Some people not even Kobe Bryant. A lot of these dudes are just old enough to have seen injured Kobe Bryant. Not even Black Mamba or number 8. But nonetheless, he made his comments about how he felt that Michael Jordan was the only player of skill in the Michael Jordan era, and that's why everybody was amazed, quote unquote, with Kobe Bryant. But Magic Johnson spoke directly to that comment that Anthony Edwards made, as he was recently interviewed by Stephen A. Smith. And I only seen the clip from this interview. I'm not even sure if it's public yet, but it was really seemed real cool. I can't stand Stephen A. Smith, but he he'll act like he got some sense depending on who's in the room. You know what I mean? If Shaq in the room, he don't do too much capping. Magic Johnson in the room, he won't do too much capping. But uh, he literally asked Magic Johnson about, to speak to the comments that Anthony Edwards made, and Magic Johnson, bro, said the exact thing that I guess I've been feeling and been really wanting to put some air behind this particular movement. But he said that he ain't talking about, he's not going to make any comments, although he made a comment. He's not going to make any comments towards Anthony Edwards. Or what he said was he's not going to make any comments towards somebody that hasn't won a championship or at least a college championship. And that's when I was like, facts, bro. We got to stop giving all of these James Hardens, Russell Westbrooks, Joel Embiid's the time of day. And Anthony Edwards, unfortunately, is on that list. As talented as the young man is, as much as I do like and respect his game, he's on that list of guys that have done nothing. He was carried to his gold medal, so don't, you know what I mean? If you're an Anthony Edwards defender, you can miss me with that. But um, for the most part, it's just like we give a lot of time and news cycles, airtime and news cycles dedicate themselves to dudes like Joel Embiid when they make comments or Anthony Edwards when they make comments. Because this was in the news cycle longer, Anthony Edwards comments, I mean, this was in the news cycle longer than the Jalen Brown news. You know what I mean? Like they got the Jalen Brown news. Oh yeah, he was snubbed by Nike and went right on to the next thing. They was talking about this for quite a few days, but it's the point of the matter that um, who is Anthony Edwards and what has he done? And it's not any disrespect towards him. It's just a mark of, I guess, my generation, man. Back in my day, if you wasn't a winner, if you ain't have a championship by your name, you really couldn't speak. You know what I mean? Nobody really was going to listen to you if you did speak. It was a lot of good players. I should say, great players in the Michael Jordan era. But the fact of the matter that they didn't win, we didn't really give them the time of day, and that's just no slight. You know what I mean? It's just what comes with hard work and success is you get a little bit more attention. You get a few more endorsements, you get a bigger paycheck. But nowadays these dudes get all of that. All of the benefits without yielding any results, and it's really setting the game back. And when Magic Johnson said what he said, it really just took me back to my era. Because there were a lot of good players during the Michael Jordan era. That's facts. You know what I mean? Not good, excuse me, great players. But the simple fact that they didn't win, we didn't sit around talking about how Reggie Miller felt about uh, uh, issues, you know what I mean, or political issues, or the past era. We didn't sit around talking about Reggie Miller all day, or Patrick Ewing. Respectfully, these were great, top 75 players right now, but they didn't get the news cycles and the news press that an Anthony Edwards or a James Harden gets because they didn't win. And there's no knock on them again. Like some people hear this and they'll get a little offended or whatever. I guess, but at the same time, Magic Johnson is an NBA champion. Not just that, he's an NBA legend. He's not he's right. He's right to say what he said because if he's to respond to Anthony Edwards, that's just going to amplify Anthony Edwards' profile. I mean, even with the comments that he's made, Anthony Edwards' name is back in the news cycle right now, and he ain't did nothing. Anthony Edwards ain't won nothing, ain't did nothing, but we're talking about him because Magic Johnson addressed him. That's the mark of greatness, you know. And if Magic Johnson was to have ripped him to shreds, and really went at his career and did all of that kind of nonsense, we would probably be looking at Anthony Edwards a totally different way. Because now it's like, well, Magic don't rock with you. He didn't disrespect him in his comments. I didn't feel like, but he made a good point. And to the point of, I'm sorry, to the point of that we need to stop acknowledging these dudes that have not won anything yet. There's no disrespect. It's just like I'm tired of. I mean, I hate to say this, and shout out to Miss Dom with Sports Tea. She has a saying, um, that some guys in the league are just perennial losers. And I'm on that same team. Ever since she said that, I really been thinking about it. Like, yes, we worship the losing nowadays. Nowadays, Now we make up stats to make dudes look better. Oh, Anthony Edwards scored 30 points the last 2 weeks. On every Monday. It's like, come on, bro. You know what I mean? No, he lost. That's all it is. It doesn't matter. If Anthony Edwards, the first guy underneath 25 to average 25, it's like, what kind of weirdo stats do you have to make up just to give somebody credit? Because they don't have anything to talk about in terms of their winning. You know what I mean? Like, we don't really got to talk about Steph Curry's advanced stats or Kobe's advanced stats or Michael Jordan's advanced stats. We don't have to talk about all of that stuff because we seen these guys win. And at the end of the day, all the stats and all that stuff went out the window. It was about skill and will. And for a guy like Anthony Edwards, again, very talented young man, but for him to be speaking on a Michael Jordan's generation is way out of pocket. Unless you was paying homage, young man, like, it's not really nothing you can say to those guys. Because one, you if you drop Anthony Edwards in the '90s right now, I don't know. I don't know if he's Ant Man as we know him. If you should drop any of these guys nowadays, because as soon as you put some real defense on these dudes, they get a little shaky. Kevin Durant, LeBron, Steph, you know what I mean? They all get a little shaky once they get some real defense. And we all know that Michael Jordan and Kobe, respectfully, they went through the gauntlet. Kobe Bryant played in the most defensive era of basketball. And what was its predecessor was the Jordan era, where you had a bunch of guys that were enforcers or just lockdown defenders, say like a Gary Payton. You know what I mean? But all in all, it's very telling. Again, with these guys in this generation, um, when they speak about the old generation, and this is another thing that I know I'm not the first person to cover this, but it does to seem to be it seems to be a campaign amongst current modern players to do their damnness to tear down the old generation. You know what I mean? And it doesn't help when you got a guy like Isaiah Thomas as well. You know what I mean? Always saying some wild, redundant stuff. I've always looked at Isaiah Thomas as one of the top five point guards. To be honest, a lot of people overlook him for the likes of Magic and Oscar Robertson or whatever. But Isaiah Thomas is in that mix as well. But he's always saying some wild stuff, and it's just kind of hard to cheer for him now. But at the same time, uh, yeah, man, Anthony Edwards ain't did nothing, ain't won nothing, ain't got no foot to stand on when talking about this. And I feel like personally, if you put Anthony Edwards in the heart of the Kobe era or the heart of the Jordan era, he's food. He's food out there. As Anthony Edwards as is, not any improvements, anything like that. Anthony Edwards as is wouldn't probably at best be the 11th man off the bench. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, shout out to Magic Johnson, the NBA legend. Again, I ain't the biggest Magic Johnson fan or whatever you want to say. I think that's just more so the generation I was in. I came up with Jordan, Kobe, Steph. So respectfully, when Magic Johnson speaks, I listen, and he was on point with this. The perfect response. We're not giving these dudes that ain't won nothing any more attention, man. Seriously, you know what I mean. Next time, well, Anthony Edwards is already getting clowned, but next time a guy of his status have to say something, it's just we gonna bomb on him. That's it. That's all. We're just bombing on him. I'm tired of even trying to respond with some logic to stupid stuff. You know what I mean? Like, at the end of the day, that's all this was, which is just a dumb take by a young, uninformed sports fan. But this was a microcosm to what really goes on in these NBA streets. Because you don't even see this kind of division in the NFL. I ain't never heard Tom Brady try to tear down Joe Montana, or I've never heard Aaron Rodgers try to tear down Dan Marino. You know what I mean? Never heard Dak Prescott say that Troy Aikman was the only talented quarterback in his era. It's like you don't never see this kind of behavior until you get to the NBA, and then all of a sudden, it's just all out. Uh, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, y'all. There we go. Oh man, sorry, y'all. I was trying to change up this stream by accident. All right, there we go. We back. We back. Sorry. But anyway, you don't see this kind of stuff in hockey. You know what I mean? I ain't never heard David. What's my guy name? David Connor David. Excuse me. I never heard Connor David speaking ill of Wayne Gretzky or even Sidney Crosby. You know, Patrick Kane. Somebody that's literally the generation before him. Never heard of it. Baseball, never heard of it. You know, it's just only in the NBA, and it's not even just the NBA. It's only been this generation of basketball players. You know what I mean? And you all want to, always talk about the LeBron James era. It's only the LeBron James era that does this, that tries their damnness to tear down the old heads. Kobe never tried to tear down Magic, Larry, Kobe, nothing like that. Um, I've never heard Tim Duncan try to. You know what I mean? As far as the last generation, the last era, it was their era. I never heard Steph do it. You know, in my opinion, this is Steph era. So it's just the point of the matter that, and I want to say it's mainly LeBron and Kevin Durant. You know, 'cause those are the two most insecure dudes I have ever seen in my life. It's for all of the success that they have amassed. Those dudes are very insecure, and they got a very thin skin. So I know that Anthony Edwards was hanging with them this past Olympic break and was just digesting all their tomfoolery. You know, ain't no telling what they was manipulating his mind with. But that's all I got for y'all on this one again. Shout out to Magic Johnson. Please like this video, share this video, hit the notification bell so you can be notified when I'm dropping content and going live on the channel as well. If you have not already, please subscribe to the channel as I drop content daily, go live daily, stay very busy on the platform. And last but not least, please leave your thoughts and opinions in the comment section. Always interested to know what you all got to say about these topics. I appreciate all the love and support. I'm Tony the Savant. Peace.